So a thing has happened. Your players have gotten too wealthy. What are you going to do about it? You want them back to feel the struggle again. You want to put the fire of adventure back in their belly, and they're going to do that if they're so rich they can buy a castle on a whim. Why would they? You need to get rid of some of that cash. Let's face it, you screwed up. You gave out way too much treasure. So how can you get rid of that money? Well, I've got some suggestions. Some things I've used in the past. These are sort of evil DM tricks, but they really do work. So, the first thing is trying to get in through the gates. You're going to have to hide that wealth if that fancy sword shows even a little bit. Or that cape looks a little too refined. Or that armor is just a little too shiny or looks a little too magical. The guys at the gate are going to know. I mean, their duty is to charge a tax. So there's a good chance that they're going to want a taste of that. And then what happens? If they say they want 20%, 30%, they tally it up and they expect the players to pay for it. What happens then? Do the players, are they good? Do they follow good gods and do they have good alignments? Well, then they're going to have to pay their taxes. But if they're not, then they might decide to fight, and they'll fight. Hell, they'll fight even if they have good alignments, trust me. You ever try and take a magic sword away from a player? Oh, yeah. But even if the guards don't see them, even if the guards are, I don't know what, just they don't see for some reason, let's suppose the characters get into the city and people start to notice. They start buying stuff. They start buying rounds of drinks at the inn or overpaying for things. Prices are going to start going up. It's not really inflation. It's stupidflation. Imagine wandering around with a big wad of cash and just sort of throwing it out at everybody. Let's face it. Word's going to get around and prices are going to start to skyrocket. And it's going to call attention to the characters. And so what's going to happen then? Well, there's going to be all kinds of people that want that money. Not just thieves. I'm not going to go with thieves. Thieves, that's old. Although, if the players decide that they're going to leave all their money and all their gems and everything else, their magic items outside of the castle, well, c'est la vie. But if they bring it into this city, people are going to see it. And they're going to realize, hey, look, these guys are flush. So what's going to happen? Well, the good characters are going to get approached by people of good character, people of good alignment. And they're going to have projects. They're going to have temples to good gods that they need financing. They're going to have sick people that they need to heal, but they can't afford it. They need money to help heal all these people. Or they're going to want to do capital projects, food projects, perhaps, so they can feed people. What good character can say no to any of that? Especially a good character that follows a good god. I mean, they'll try. But then we need to start looking at that alignment, right? Okay. So, the good character's going to have to deal with that. But what about the evil characters, or the neutral characters, let's say? What about them? What happens with them? Well, if a very wealthy lord comes into a city, what would traditionally happen is they would be obliged to outfit an army. I don't see any reason why the characters wouldn't be obliged to do that. They may get summoned into the chambers of the Lord, King, or whoever, and told, well, he needs soldiers. He needs them to outfit some soldiers. He needs 100 crossbows, and 100 suits of chainmail, and 100 helmets, and 100 shields, and 100 swords. Guess who's paying for it? Guess who's in a lot of trouble if they decide they're not going to pay for it? And that's basically how, back then in the Middle Ages, that's how taxes worked, essentially, for very wealthy people. They didn't actually dole out tons of cash. They doled out soldiers. So all of a sudden the characters are on the hook for a bunch of soldiers. But maybe it's more than that. Maybe the king is built in a swamp and parts of his castle keep falling into the swamp, and so he needs money for capital projects to build new towers. All right, that's a Monty Python reference. But you know, he's the king, the lord, whoever's in charge, whoever's got all those soldiers ready to come after player characters that don't cooperate. What's he gonna want? He's gonna want the players to pay for it, the characters to pay for it. Of course he is. He's gonna want them to foot the bill, maybe the whole bill. Maybe he'll pretend to pay half. That would be good of him, I guess. And then there's also inflation. I mean, once the characters start spending all this cash, they start, buying farms and helping farmers, start growing crops to alleviate hunger or building temples. Once they start outfitting soldiers and all those forges get busy and everything, wow, that's a lot of money. What happens then? Well, inflation. I mean, you've got your stupidflation, which is just from flashing a lot of money around, but then you'll have actual real inflation, because more money means higher prices. That's how it works. So there's a lot of ways the characters can lose their money. There's a lot of ways you can alleviate them, of that burden. And then they can get back to good old adventuring and finding another dragon horde to raid and take over. And so you can start the whole thing over again. Anyway, those are my tips for dealing with wealthy player characters. All right, till next time. Talk to you later. Take care.